Hey you guys, it's Amy Gretchen. Welcome back to another Project Life Process video. In this video, I am working on week 33 from 2017. So I am just diving in and getting started. I had previously taken my 4x6 cards and kind of laid them out, and then I just cut up the two 3x3 photos. Now, one thing in particular with this week is I don't have tons and tons of photos. So I'm definitely going to have more space for telling stories or maybe adding some filler cards. The kit that I decided to use, well, I think I am using multiple things, but the main kit or the main supplies that I'm using are coming from Ali Edwards' Detail Kit. That's one of her story kits. And unfortunately, when you see this, I used it back in week 32 as well. And unfortunately, it is not available to purchase right now. But I would definitely look for, she normally has a sale. I think she has it a couple times a year. I know I've mentioned this before on my YouTube where she has a sale on some of her past kits in, I think, the summer and then like later in the year, in the winter time. So definitely look for those, because even if you're not able to get the actual kit or the physical kit with the physical products, you will be able to get the digital kit. And in that respect, you don't have to be there right on time. Anyone can buy the digital kit. They can sell as many as they want. So you can, guarantee yourself that. So just be on the lookout for that. Okay, so back to my actual spread. So I'm just working on those 3x3 photos and basically doing what I do every time and just adding the date and then just a little bit of journaling about that photo. And then I'm just going to move on to the rest of the layout. So it felt really messy. It felt kind of chaotic. And so I decided to start slipping some stuff into the pockets. Even though I thought, it's possible I could pull things out, but I just needed to get some things put away. So it's typically why I do that. So I grabbed over this digital card that I had previously printed. It's from In a Creative Bubble, and it's a reading list. And I think it says 1 through 5, but instead of doing like the 5 things I'm reading, I thought it would be fun to write down what everyone else was reading. And just as a warning, I couldn't remember what my husband was reading at the time, and so I didn't write it down. And as I'm editing this, I realized I still haven't gone back to write it down. So you may want to make a note to yourself, a little post-it or something, put it somewhere where you're going to see it so you don't forget to do that, because, in another few weeks, he goes through books so quickly that he's not going to remember what he was reading. So anyway, something to think about. Another embellishment that I really loved from that detail kit. Now, you guys, I really loved that kit. I don't think I can tell you enough. So if you can get your hands on it, totally do. But those wood veneer words, I love them. Those are the type of embellishment that I tend to hoard. And then I don't want to use them because I want to keep them, right? But the best thing to do when you love something, I have learned over time, is to use it, because what ends up happening is it just gets put somewhere, lost in a drawer, and then you don't get to enjoy it when you're flipping through your layouts. Plus, in the future, you may never know what's in style and if it's even a product you'll want to use. So definitely use those products. I was super excited to be able to use them in this layout. They could definitely go, they're so versatile, the this story and the remember, they could definitely go in any spread, but just thought that it worked really good in this week. So that's why I decided to go ahead and use it. So I'm just taking them and using the adhesive, the Tombow adhesive that I like to use, which is no longer available. Now I'm just doing a bit of journaling. This card that says Heart of the Matter, it actually came in a different story kit from Ali Edwards. And I can't remember exactly which one it was, but it was one of her past kits. I tend to take the past kits that I haven't used the products for and just kind of put them all together. So I never know which goes with which. That journaling was a little bit about my my brother passed away. It was the anniversary of his death this week. And so I wrote a little bit about, it's been 25 years. So I wrote a little bit about that and how much I've, grown from that experience over the past 25 years. So definitely a story that a little bit harder to tell, but definitely one that I wanted to include in my project life. I like including stories that aren't just, we did this, we went here, but stuff, that's on your mind and what's going on right at the time. Those are the things that I really want to read. Especially because I keep that story journal that does tell the who, the what. All right, so I really struggled this week with trying to figure out the title card that I wanted to do. So nothing was really standing out to me. So I basically just pulled over like all my 3x4 cards that I have and started looking through them and seeing if anything jumped out at me. There's this one that came from Studio Calico. It maybe was July, the July kit. I can't necessarily remember. Definitely a lot of fun, definitely pretty summery. So I wanted to use it before the summer was over. So you can see that I am still trying to make up my mind and determine exactly what I want to do. But at the end of the day, I decided to go with this card. And then I decided to do something fun because it was so black and white. I decided to pull out some of my Copic markers and do a little bit of coloring. So I haven't done that in a while. And of course, it was just these little bits and pieces. I could have used any marker, but those markers were just the ones that were sitting there. And so I just went ahead and grabbed them. I don't know if you actually see it in the video or if I edited it out, but there's a couple of them that were pretty juicy and ended up kind of splashing. Actually, I think that might be edited out because this video gets cut off, but I didn't realize, you'll see coming up. Anyways, I don't want to spoil anything, but I really enjoy using these Copic markers, I think because the colors are so rich and they just lay down so easily onto the paper. So I'm just going to go ahead and I just go through and add little bits and pieces of color to the designs just to give it a little something more. So I think it's at this point where my camera cuts off and I don't realize that it's done that. So of course I keep working and then, here we go. I'm coming back here. So I apologize. You didn't get to see me finish that card, but what I ended up doing is just using Studio Calico's Mega Date stamp, stamping it onto some scratch paper and then just cutting it out and drawing a line around it and sticking it onto that card. All right, so now I'm finishing that Currently card, and I grabbed a stamp set that was from Carrie Bradford, I believe, and I'm using some Avery Elle pigment ink, and I just went ahead and stamped it right on there, and I kind of loved the pigment. It wasn't like 100% coverage. I could have done a better job, but I kind of like that it made it look a little bit translucent. I don't know how else to explain that. It definitely wasn't 100% opaque, and I liked the way that looked. And then just stuck the Currently right on there. So I loved that combination together, and I definitely want to do it again. So I think this is the last story that I am telling from this spread, just another detail from the week. I really love this project and that it allows you to tell stories that you may have missed otherwise. So it's it's just a lot of fun. So I was thinking of moving that down to the center. I felt like it needed a little bit more color or something like that. So that's why I ended up coloring it and moving it to the top, because I did like it better in the top, and then it kind of hid the ink splot that you didn't actually see happen. And then I added some staples just to ground it a little bit more. And that is the spread from this week. Thank you guys so much for being here. I really hope that you guys were able to get some inspiration. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. And if you are new to my channel, I would love for you to subscribe so that you can get updates. All right, you guys, we will catch you in the next one. Bye.